Right. I don't know if you've noticed the last few weeks I've started to, I don't know, I feel like I've been a little bit I don't know, having a battle with Gary Neville, and I am really frustrated that we have started this pod 2 weeks later, because did you see at the beginning of the week they were talking about why English teams are doing much better in Europe, and he started to break down, oh, it's because of the managers. Now, I think you can all attest that I did start thinking and talking about this like 2 weeks ago. So he's basically stolen our subject. I don't know how he's done it. One of you probably leaked it to him. And yeah, now it looks like we're copying him, so I'm pissed off.
Well, what did he say? I'll just say what he said.
Well, that's what you usually do anyway, don't you? So, yeah, it's the usual stuff. They started off the subject of basically why are England doing well in Europe again, or the Premier League rather. His three main things was money and how much they invest, players, obviously, because that's what you invest in the players, and then managers. And he sort of went through the beginning of the 2000s in and around, I think, to 2007, if that's correct, and how many how many English teams were in Europe in semi-finals and finals. Then there was that gap afterwards till about, I don't know, the early noughties, till up until about now, where we weren't basically, and now we're back again. And it was because of the quality of manager that he thinks we're getting in. And obviously Pep being probably the leader of them all, I guess. I don't know if there's any other managers you would say with that. Klopp. I mean, Tuchel's in it now. The reason I started thinking of it initially was because we started talking about when obviously Pep was in the final, and for some reason, like I incorrectly remember some things, it was something about Pep never winning the Champions League, but it was Pep won the Champions League with Barcelona, but hasn't won it since, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So now he's got the opportunity where he's in the first final with Man City. He doesn't lose finals. If Pep wins this Champions League, can we start to say that he is arguably the second best manager in Premier League history?
Don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I haven't. You've kind of sprung that, so I've not thought it through properly. But my initial reaction would be no. I don't know what the guys think.
Who's your second then, Rory? If not him, don't say Wenger.
No, not Wenger. Don't be silly.
Well, see, that's why I had second, because who would be second outside of Wenger? Well, you can say Mourinho.
I was going to say Mourinho.
Yeah, you could say
Ranieri.
Well, no, you guys have messed this up.
Ranieri won the league with Leicester.
Right, yeah, can I just be clear on this then? I need to clear this up. Alex Ferguson's number one, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So then, how comes I've just said that Pep might be the second best, and you said no? Who would you have as second if it isn't Arsene Wenger?
I'd probably still have Klopp over Pep.
But hold on, you're talking the best Premier League managers ever. Like, Klopp hasn't done it for long enough.
Yeah.
Come on.
Klopp came in and turned around a struggling team, and then
and then
3 years in a row got over.
Are you some kind of Liverpool fan? What is going on here?
No, listen, Guardiola, as much as he's a great manager and he's great at imposing his style on a team, if you look at the three jobs that Guardiola has had in football, he took over a Barcelona team with Samuel Eto'o, Lionel Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Yaya Toure, Gerard Piqué, Carlos Puyol, Dani Alves, etc., etc., etc.
Pretty sure you never said Messi now.
Did I not say Messi? No, Messi being the obvious one. As well, and then even signed players like David Villa and he brought Busquets and Ibrahimovic, etc., etc. And he won the Champions League with them. But then there is an argument to say that there's a number of managers that would have won the Champions League with that group of players. Then and also it was proven because Spain won three international tournaments in a row with a lot of those players as the spine. Obviously, the glaring omission from that is Lionel Messi. He then goes to Bayern Munich, who had just won the Champions League when Guardiola walked in. He walked into the reigning Champions League winners, the reigning European champions. He turned up. He then didn't even arrive at a final in his 3 years in Germany. He had players like Bastian Schweinsteiger, Robert Lewandowski, I'm
etc., etc.
Mats Hummels, Manuel Neuer, Philip Lahm, etc., etc., etc. He then does 3 years there.
Been everywhere.
Wins the league every year. Bear in mind, can I just caveat this by saying that I have just driven for 6 hours and I haven't even had a cup of tea yet. So that's why I might seem a little bit slow today. And he then turns up at Man City. Like his first year or his second year, spends like 100 million quid on fullbacks, and he already inherited players like Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero, and other players that he brought
David
in,
Silva.
David Silva, other players that he brought in like Bernardo Silva, and finally after like 5 years or something, he's arrived at a Champions League final. Now I'm not trying to take away from the sort of the challenge and take away credit from him, because obviously it's a great achievement to turn up in a Champions League final with any team. And I'm not one of these people that says, oh, he needs to manage Brentford to the Champions League before I rate him, but he has had 3 of the best jobs in world football, and during 3 of the best eras. I'd like to see him go back to Barcelona and turn that ship around now, or possibly maybe take over an Arsenal. I know it's never going to happen, but turn around a previously huge club that's now really struggling.
Juventus.
Yeah, Juventus would be a good job for him, because Marseille are absolutely like they're a crisis club at the minute. So I don't know.
If you talk about Champions League, even like a PSG, for instance, but the thing is, right, you could arguably say, and I know that they're winning the Premier League, they've already won it rather. This is arguably, there's probably about maybe 2, 3, 4 Man City teams that Pep's managed that isn't as good as this one on paper. And he's managed to win the Premier League and get to the Champions League final, potentially winning that. They're definitely going in as the favourites. And Mark, you said, which I found really interesting, that you would much rather have Klopp than Pep. For me, it's coming across like Pep is somehow underrated as a manager, because every time we're talking about his successes, and if he's the best manager in the world, best manager in Premier League, just like at Arsenal, the second best rather, there's all these things that come across as if they're taken away from what he's done. What is it that he has to do at this point to be named the best manager in the world, or one of the best managers that's ever lived?
Well, one is time. So this is like the first time, as we said, with Bayern and with Man City, this is the first time he's got to a Champions League final. And I'd say most years, you'd say the reason Man City haven't got to a final is almost purely Pep's fault, because they played Lyon and he just picked a ridiculously weird team. They got knocked out by Tottenham, knocked him out. Liverpool knocked him out. Like, he's been knocked out of the Champions League regularly by bad teams, where he's done something weird where you're like, well, if this was just a league game, you'd probably win it comfortably. But he's done a Pep and just picked a random team.
Even with
and it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea go and beat him.
It's a final, isn't it?
Yeah,
it would surprise me, given Tuchel has lost every final he's ever been in. Pep has pretty much won every final he's ever been in. It would be a funny story if.
Yeah, but you've got to look, like Tuchel lost to Bayern, who were at that time amazing. Leicester won on the weekend, and let's just say, like, reffing decisions had a big part to play in that. Like, Chelsea were not bad, but yeah, on another day VAR gives a handball, and that offside was like millimeters. So, like, it's not like he's gone out and he's been battered in finals. It's not like he's done something wrong. Where when Man City have gone out, you're like, you have done something wrong. For some reason, you played David Silva as a centre forward against Lyon, and you're like, what are you doing? Like,
to be fair, Klopp lost 6 or 7 finals in a row to begin with before he won his first cup, I think.
Yeah. So what does Guardiola have to do? He has to. Well, there's a couple of things. One is I think managers need to improve players. So what's a manager do? He's meant to make that team perform at their best. And
how can you say he's not improved players though?
Who's improved?
Who hasn't improved? Silva, the Portuguese, Bernardo Silva, he's absolutely improved.
Bernardo Silva was quality before. Bernardo Silva was amazing.
Not the kind of level like Gundogan. Look at Gundogan now. Like there are a ton of players in that team. I know Sterling's kind of gone off a cliff now, but a few years ago, when Sterling got there from Liverpool, he was not the player he became.
These players were full internationals. These players were full internationals before they came to.
But he still improved them. He made them better.
I'm not sure I agree.
Right, let me put Danny. Right, given your current manager is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Mark said that he would take Klopp over Pep. If Pep was put on a plate for you to have as a manager, Manchester United, in this current situation, you wouldn't say no, right?
If the option was Klopp or Pep, I would also pick Klopp, but not because I think Klopp is the second best manager in the history of the Premier League, because I think going forwards, so Klopp he's a different kind of manager. It's a different style of football. He has a different connection.
Do you think he's a better manager than Pep?
I don't think it's about who's better. I think they're both world-class managers, and I think they can both achieve greatness. They just do it in two different ways. And what I really like about Klopp, and it's the same reason that when Klopp got signed, I think it was Alex Ferguson, who was like, "Oh, we're in trouble here now," because he knew there and then this is someone who can go and build a dynasty at a club, and a good one, playing good football, backing of the fans, like building from the bottom, bringing through youth, doing all the stuff that you'd want, not having to go, like, they have spent millions. So of course they've gone out and spent a lot of money, but also he doesn't have to necessarily. He's proven that he can do it without. So I'm with Mark. I would pick Klopp over Pep if they were both there all day. But if it's only Pep or no one, yeah, absolutely take Pep, because he's still a great manager.
Yeah, I'm with the lads there. I take Klopp over Pep also.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably be the same. It's just I don't know if I'd be as ardent, because I just find it so odd actually that Pep just doesn't seem to be getting the credit that he deserves. I mean, he has the record for it, and it's almost like his time at Barcelona is held against him. I mean, like what is he supposed to do? He's getting these,
but it's the jobs he's had. He's consistently had amazing jobs. He took over that Bayern team at the absolute peak. He had Philipp Lahm at the age of 28, 29. He had Schweinsteiger at the same age. He had Mats Hummels. He had Manuel.
Well, I think that's the point. Is like, because when you say, do you want him at your club? You know, your club has finite resources.
Yes.
If you said the PSG, so let's just say Poch gets sacked this summer, you would say that's perfect for Pep. Because what we know about Pep is he needs a few goes at buying players. That's why I'm saying he doesn't improve players. If you read out his top 20 most expensive signings, all of which will probably be over 20 million, half of those are flops. And
he couldn't even get a tune out of Ibrahimovic. I know that he's hard to manage, but a lot of players have Samuel Eto'o slags off Pep at every given opportunity. So does Ibrahimovic. Like a lot of his players don't like him.
Yeah, you just look at some players, like what team could spend like 16, 17 million on Bravo, and then manager just say straight away, he's not good enough. They spent 50 million on Sane. Like a lot of if you're at Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, and you spent 50 million on Sane, the board are telling you need to get this guy in the team. He needs to be playing. We need to see some progress. Like, we spent 50 million on him. Pep's just like, well, he doesn't really do what I want him to. I've spent 50 million, but now I've worked with him, I realize actually he's not my kind of player. And at City, they basically planned for Pep before Pep came. So Pep's got ultimate power. So that's the difference. Like if I don't know, a Saudi billionaire or like a Middle Eastern billionaire came into United and they said, well, look, we're just going to spend millions and millions this summer, then you'd be like, okay, Pep fits that, because Pep will eventually get a team that will break records. Like his Man City team's got 100 points. Like they've won like the Carling Cup 4 years in a row. Like it's because they have so many good players. Like that's what they're saying about this season is City.
He's got the turnover.
He's got the best second team. Like when I was doing my wild card on fantasy, every single City player has 90 minutes, 20 minutes, 90 minutes, and you're like, what team basically has 3 teams that they can just rotate?
And it was the same at Bayern Munich as well. it was the same at like he was able to like move his players around. He was playing like David Alaba at left wing at one point to give Robin and Ribery a rest, and and then even at Barcelona, every player pretty much got rotated other than Messi because Messi was going for every goal scoring record going. But they would bring in players like Christian Teo, like Montoya, if you remember him. Sergi Roberto was maybe just coming through. They would bring through those type of players. Because he just seemed to have like even people like Pedro and Bojan, who often people forget about. He had Henry, Eto'o, Villa all within 2 years of each other. So yeah, I agree with Mark. Like I'm not saying he's not a bad manager. He's obviously a great manager.
I don't think any of us are saying he's a bad manager. So
no, he's a great manager, but it's just he's had these jobs. Like if you were playing Football Manager or playing FIFA and you had to guarantee winning the league in your first year, chances are one of the 3 teams you would take over is Barcelona 2009-ish, Bayern Munich 2013, or Man City in 2017. Like that, he's had the best jobs going. I would like to see him take over a team that's maybe in transition and build his own team as opposed to just throwing money at a problem.
So Leicester said
your question, Chris, was who's the second best manager in the Premier League? Which I don't think we've answered, but I think it has to be Pep because his record in the Premier League. He's dominated the last 12 years.
If you're not going to give it to Wenger, then it has to be Pep. I don't even know.
Wenger never won a European trophy.
Nonsense.
Wenger never won a European trophy.
This is we're talking about Premier League.
Neither's Pep until this point.
Yeah.
And, I just mean in general. Wenger's whole career, he's never won a European trophy.
Yeah,
well, but context.
Hold on. Rory, sometimes we do. Part of the argument and part of what bolsters the argument is how many cups you've won overall, and you kind of filter that into your Premier League goals as well. It's like, all right, you can win some Premier Leagues and stuff, or you can win some FA Cups, you can win some League Cups, you can even win Europa Champions League. But it's that combination of all of it together when we start putting, good managers to great managers to, all right, these are the best managers that have entered the Premier League. What we're going to put between a Wenger and a Pep, and that's why I asked the question.
Can I just say one thing?
To win the Champions League.
Can I just say one thing on Wenger? Because I don't want it to turn into like a Wenger conversation because like I've heard it a million times. But what I will say about Arsene Wenger is he constantly sacrificed the league in order to compete in the Champions League, and then went 10 years without even getting past the last 16 or last 8. I don't know if you guys probably remember 2007 or was it 2000? Late 2000s, he lost to Man United the year Ronaldo ran the whole pitch and Park squared it, right? So let's say that was 08-09. He did not get past. That was the last time he got to a semi-final for 10 years. Like, even though he sacrificed league form and sacrificed good chances of winning titles in order for Champions League runs, he never got into the latter stage of the Champions League. On top of that, he also, as soon as Mourinho came to England, he never won a league. He won a league in his first 6 years and then did not win another league for the next 16. Like, I don't know how you can call a guy who managed a so-called Big Four and then a Big Six club for 16 years without a league title. I don't know how you can say he's the best, considering Ferguson constantly competed. Even when City's money came, constantly competed. Ranieri against all odds. Mourinho in 2 different decades. Carlo Ancelotti, who... that Chelsea team he had with Ballack, Lampard and Essien just used to steamroll the team 6-7-0. Like, I don't know how you can put Wenger above any of them when he just couldn't compete with them teams.
Well, that's fair. But go on.
I defend
Last one.
Wenger a bit just because you have to give him context. He did win leagues until Arsenal moved stadium, and then no one can tell me his hands weren't tied for the next 6-7 years. Like I think Arsenal sold their captain 4 years in a row. Like, that's not Wenger. That's not
surely
Wenger.
that's a reflection on him though.
But this is what I mean about you got to take into context. Imagine Man City said to Pep that every year he's been at Man City 5 years. They said, we're selling your best player every year. Pep would just go, but Wenger didn't. Like, well, Mark, so there is some.
I think this is something that probably I can only assume here, but something that probably is part of Pep's thing is that he has carte blanche to do whatever he likes at these clubs. On yesterday, Leicester won the FA Cup, and Brendan Rodgers said in his talk after that there were big clubs that, and every year the expectation is that they have to win and they've got to win trophies, and that's what they need to do. Being at a club like Leicester, it's just competing. The reason you're at Leicester is because you just want a chance to compete for games, for cups, and potentially the league. It's not, there is no expectation, and they won. When Brendan Rodgers went to Leicester City as opposed to Liverpool, he's obviously made that personal choice within himself to be, all right, I'm going to manage a club that is only going to compete, and the expectations are different. You could argue that Pep goes to these places and his expectation is to win. So his rules are, all right, I'm going to go there and you can't tell me what to do because I'm going to spend what I spend and you can't say anything about it. You know, it kind of made me think like, Danny, I don't know if you agree or not. It almost made me think of like F1. You know, it's almost as if the person who has the best car wins. That's what I often hear. And Lewis Hamilton's often in the best car. Well, if that's the case, what does the driver mean? And it's almost like the manager is the driver of an F1 car. If you're in a shit car, you've got no chance and your expectation isn't to win the race. But if you're in that good car, what else is there? You just have to win, isn't it? And that's almost what Pep is. He's Lewis Hamilton. He's whoever's going to be the best driver at the time, driving the best car. It's the combination of the both. And at what point is it not going to be held against him because he's at these top clubs? Does he have to go not to a Brentford, but is it?
Yeah,
he
Brentford.
Has to go,
yeah,
I mean that's too extreme. He's not going to go to Burnley. Look, if you took Burnley's manager and put him at Man City, chances are Man City's not going to win the league, right? And if you put Pep at Burnley, chances are Burnley's not going to win. It's a combination of the quality of the infrastructure of the team and what they're given. He's just given a lot, and he probably demands that as well. I don't know how that's held against him.
Your Formula One example, your Formula One analogy, though, is that the reason. So you're right. It's a quite good comparison. But the reason Hamilton is in the best car is because he's the best driver. So they want the best driver in the best car, is the argument. But then everyone goes, well, he's in the best car, of course he's going to win. Yeah, but you wouldn't know if he was going to win in another car because he's not in it, because he's so good that they pay him the big bucks to make sure he's in the best one. It's kind of the same thing with Guardiola, is he's so good that they make sure he's in the best team so that he can make sure the best team wins. Kind of, so it's self-fulfilling in a way.
So what about if Guardiola's first job had have been at Deportivo? That's what my argument is. His first job was Barcelona in that era. Like,
so you're talking about like,
are you going to say if Deportivo doesn't win La Liga, then he's not a good manager? Like,
no, but Klopp started at Mainz. Alex Ferguson started at Raith Rovers and then went to Aberdeen and won a European trophy with them. And I know we're talking early 80s now, but you know, every single manager. This is
what was Klopp. What was Klopp's clubs? Do you know what I mean?
Klopp started at Mainz, and he got them promoted into the Bundesliga, and then had them consistently competing in the top half of the Bundesliga before he got.
And won the league with Dortmund.
And then he won the league twice with Dortmund. So all of these managers, it's a little bit like the reason I have a problem with Arteta. Every single great manager up to now has always cut their teeth at a lower club. Now, whether it's Frank Lampard like at Derby, or whether we're talking an extremely low club. Like, I mean, Graham Potter started at York City and then went via Norway. So was it Norway or was it somewhere? Yeah. So
Iceland.
Yeah. Iceland. Yeah, Norway, something. But Guardiola walked into a Barcelona job whilst they had the greatest player of all time at the beginning of his career.
I doubt they would have picked him if he wasn't a man for the job. Walked into a job. I mean,
because he was a Barcelona legend.
He did a Barcelona B team, didn't he?
He did the Barcelona B team, and they just stepped him up. And Cruyff liked him, and so did Laporta, who was the.
So the question of what does he need to do? I honestly, I think if he goes to either PSG or Juve, that doesn't help in my mind, because I think they're both sleeping giants.
Not based on what we've been talking about. That's not going to help.
No, because I think they're both sleeping giants. I think any manager in the job now is going to. They're the clubs to go for.
They're not even really sleeping. They both won the league last year.
Can I stop you there, Mark? Because that's a great point. Actually, they're sleeping giants, and it's like
they're not sleeping. They won the league last year.
Yeah, but
I mean, we know what we're talking about. Don't take it to somewhere else, Rovio. We know what Mark's saying. Like, to be the next big super giant team in the world and dominate for the next 2 or 3, 4 seasons, winning Champions League and all of that stuff, right? What if they're sleeping giants and you're like, all right, who's going to be the person that's going to wake them up? The early man could be Pep, so we're going to hold it against him.
No, it's more. I think like PSG and Juve will win the leagues next year. Like Inter basically rolled the dice this year, won the league, and now they have to sell half their team. And it's like
Lille have to sell half their team.
No, it's true. They've rolled the dice to win it once, and it's like, okay, so next season, like, it will the norm will return. So it's like, actually, if you were a manager looking for a job. They're two good jobs to go to because like they're going to win the league next year. Like it almost doesn't matter who's in charge. And your F1 analogy, Danny, of how do you know Man City were the best team? Because bang average managers have won the league with them just before Pep came in. Like let's look at Mancini and Pellegrini since they've left City. They're not exactly shown themselves to be like.
I think Pellegrini's doing a really, really good job at Betis. To be fair,
I
do know what
you can't have a go at Betis while Rory's around.
Yeah.
No, but let's face it. If, like,
Pellegrini's got Canales, so
yeah, but Pellegrini's doing a good. I agree.
And he did a half decent job at West Ham.
Yeah,
but we're talking about like West Ham managers winning the league. Do you know, like
I agree with Pellegrini. But did they had another manager in between as well that we're forgetting about?
Mancini?
No, Mancini I agree with. I agree with Marco Mancini. I don't think he's a particularly good manager. I think he's always had great teams. Pellegrini, I think, has done some really good jobs, I think. And
arguably Pellegrini would have won the league again, but they announced Guardiola just after Christmas.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Then City had that big drop. There was that sort of like ungraceful announcement of Guardiola.
We are missing a Man City manager, though, I'm sure, because it didn't just go. Who?
Hughes was before.
No, after Mancini.
I don't think so.
I can't
Pellegrini, Mancini, and I don't know.
I'm terrible at using the internet. I can't seem to find it.
Maybe we're not. I had a feeling that
it was. I can tell you here. It was Mark Hughes to Mancini. Brian Kidd took over, and then Pellegrini came in, and then it was Guardiola.
Oh, yeah. I thought there was about
Brian Kidd.
It was Sven before Mark Hughes.
So that analogy of the best car, it was like, this is the first season I'd say Pep won the league without some of the players that were really key to winning the league for those two managers.
I think the reason why is that, like we said, it's COVID has just benefited him more than anyone ever. Like, which I think he's almost like a doomsdayer. He was always prepared for like the worst case scenario because he had so many players that could play in his system. But I mean, I do find it fascinating now, Pep argument, because I wonder if he's perceived differently outside of England. It's a very much of an English pursuit in terms of, all right, let's try and let's measure him against all these arguments that we've made against him not working on, not managing lesser teams, having money, blah blah blah. I wonder if in Italy or in Germany or in Spain, or they'd say he's easily the best going.
I don't think they rate him in Germany because of what he did at Bayern.
Yeah, and in Spain they acknowledge that he gets teams playing great football, but they also acknowledge that the manager after Pep probably did a more remarkable job because the likes of Iniesta and Xavi were aging by then.
Does he ask for the highest wage? What's his wage like?
Huge, probably. I don't know. But we won't have to have a whip round for him anytime soon. I think we can guarantee that.
Yeah. No, there you go. Should we talk
just
about
looking? Guardiola is the highest paid manager in European football.
There you go.
Not surprised.
No, and I don't think you'd like. He's at the biggest. Yeah,
he gets the top three.
The top three. Oh, that's a good question. Klopp has to be.
Who?
Klopp's
number 2.
Yeah. Is it in the Premier League? Is that why they all come to the Premier League? It must be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they come to the Premier League. Yeah.
3's got to be Zidane.
No.
Well, I would have gone Mourinho.
Well, it's Mourinho. Yeah, Mourinho's obviously it was Mourinho because this was done at the start of the year.
Yeah. Oh,
and
Mourinho.
Then Ancelotti.
It's been 2 weeks since we've done it. I don't know if we need to get ready. Mourinho got a new job, didn't he?
Roma.
Yeah, he's at Roma.
I'll put it out there on record. I think he does a really good job at Roma, and I think they'll love him.
They will love him because they love defensive football. Yeah, they love defensive football. That's what they're all about.
You just said Pellegrini's doing a good job. So what do you mean by a good job?
I mean, good job is relative because Pellegrini having Betis in 6th is a good job. If Pellegrini had Real Madrid in 6th, that's not a good job.
So what's Mourinho's first?
Mourinho will take Roma back to the Champions League. Like, we'll get them back in the top 4.
Yeah, they're just about getting Europe this year. I think they've got to win their last game of the season. They'll get Europa League, but
Also,
they should, I mean, they've been unfortunate with injuries. They should be getting Champions Leagues anyway. But he's got to get them top 2 or 3.
Not only that, I'll say that he finishes above Lazio and that he takes him into Europe, and that if he stays for more than 2 years, he wins a cup.
Maybe.
I think that would constitute a good job.
I also think Italy is the right. Like, you look at what he did with Inter Milan. Obviously, he destroyed the club, and obviously there's all the stuff, but they loved him. They idolized him, and they still do today.
Yeah.
Because the reason they love Chris Smalling is he's a good defender. Like, they love defending.
Yeah, it's true. But would you agree?
Calm.
Would you agree that if he did that, if he finished above Lazio, got him in the top 4, and won a cup, would you agree that's a good job?
No, I think he needs to be fighting at the top of the league. For if you're going to pay Mourinho the big bucks to come into a team like Roma, which, you know, back in the day, this is a big team. This is a capital city of the country.
They are, but they're nowhere near as big as the Milans or Juve. Like, historically, they are a big club.
Fighting. You look at the Italian league now, and there's 4 teams fighting for second place still with 1 game to go. Yeah. Like, Roma should be in that battle. It shouldn't be Atalanta fighting in that battle. It should be Roma.
True. That's true.
So as long as they're fighting up at the top of the league, I think, and winning a cup here and there, they'll be very happy with it.
Mm-hmm. One good thing that Jose's getting a new job is that we've got a new game for next season. Hopefully no one steals it, which they need to prepare. It's Jose Mourinho bingo. So we'll have our bingo cards of what sayings and things he's going to do next season. And the first one who, I guess, gets bingo, that's down a pint?
I'll have a think about what the winner gets.
Yeah, it's Danny's game, so we'll figure it out. So we all got to come up with our instances and put it in the bag, and then we'll have a nice bingo card to have next year.
Am I right in saying I'm the only one on this podcast that actually likes Mourinho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like him not at my club.
Like, fair enough.
Yeah.
From a distance. He's fun to watch.
Although if you listen back, like when he was at our club and Danny was Mourinho out, I was like, do you know what? Back the guy. You can't half get Mourinho what we did. You can't half do it. Like, you can't say we're getting Mourinho in, but we want to play good football and not get his type of players. If you're gonna go Mourinho, you got to fully.
I think they backed him. They're the second highest spenders over that period in the world of any club. Like, they backed him from spending the 80 million on Pogba all the way through to Lukaku's and whoever. They backed him.
With United, it was weird because they were buying shirts, selling players. You don't know what the transfers in that period were a bit weird.
Yeah, very weird. But that's because they're Woodward more than anything.
Rory, I describe Jose Mourinho as a fist fight. Fun to watch from a distance, but you really want to get involved.
Yeah, that's fair.
Should we go to our results league? So last week we picked 2, didn't we? I went for. Yeah, it was last week. Or no, the week before. We've done loads.
Yeah, I've messed it up because I meant to do Leicester to beat United, and I've missed that fixture.
I did get a 4-pointer during that for Crystal Palace to beat Sheffield United 2-0, which was good for me. We've got 2 weeks left, so I've gone ahead and picked the last 2 results because the last one pretty much writes itself. For next week's game week, I picked West Brom to beat West Ham 3-1 because I have to. And then the week after, I'm only left with Brighton to win, and they're up against Arsenal away from home. So I'll have to go for Brighton to beat Arsenal 2-1, which could happen.
More than likely.
Probably more than likely at this stage, yeah.
Yeah. Go on, Danny boy.
Well, I've got Newcastle left, and I've got Burnley left. So considering they're both playing Sheffield United in the next 2 weeks, although Sheffield United, with their new 17-year-old wonder strikers, look like they're going to be Everton, I'm going to have to go for Newcastle to beat Sheffield United next week. And I'm going to go for a 3-1. And then I'm going to go for Burnley in the last game of the season to beat Sheffield United. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win.
I'll write them in the sheet anyway.
I haven't got it up here. All right.
Go on, Mark.
All right. So I'm going to do Southampton to beat Leeds, which I'm going to go with a nice 3-2 because we know Leeds don't do 0-0s unless they play United. And then the last game of the week of the season, I have to pick. Someone's in the sheet. It's changing. Leicester to win. So Leicester will beat Last game of the season is not Chelsea. Leicester are playing Spurs, so Leicester will beat Spurs 2-0.
They could, although Spurs seem to be getting a few goals, which is not great.
Yeah, I meant to do Leicester to beat United last week, and that's why because I planned my results. So now I'm going to end the season with never picking United to lose.
Oh no!
Oh,
What's that? Minus 5 points.
Minus 105, I think.
105.
I think I've already won the game, haven't I? It's all a bit redundant.
You have. 3 points. I'm on 33. Mark.
Are you hearing that, Danny? As well?
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you went all robotic for a sec.
Yeah.
Try that again.
Chris's new flat.
I like to do the robot.
He's proving to have some teething problems.
Yeah, we didn't hear any of that. Say that again. How much did I win by? Hello? Well, he's not having a good time with it. Mark, you're gonna have to take over quick.
Yeah, you're coming back out and in, Chris. No, you're all right. You're back now. So yeah, you're 10 points clear, Danny. So if Chris gets a 4 and a 4, is that the most you can get? So you could. Yeah. It could have been a 2-point win.
Could do. Yeah, I was almost in there if I would have got a good result last weekend, but not the case. You could still catch me up, Mark, but not likely.
No.
The Champions League draft, though, you're doing well in, Mark. You won it. You're on top of the Champions League draft with 4,130 points. I'm in close seconds with 3,555 points, and Danny is dead last loser with 3,390 points. What a low score! And Danny, and Mark's the only person.
I started off so well as well.
And I during the pod that you had to drop Chelsea, you were considering it, and I felt you made the wrong choice. And Chris was like, "Isn't it obvious to drop Chelsea?" And I was like, "I don't think it was because Real Madrid are not very good."
I fancied PSG. I really thought they could do it, but
they just flop every time. They need someone like Pep. The thing is, Mark, I remember throughout the season, you did play some absolute blinding swaps sometimes. You'd swap them in. And
it was the Mönchengladbach when it was bringing them in and they won 6-0. That was ridiculous.
It's like, where are they now? Like,
exactly. Who are they?
They won 6-0 the other day, didn't they? Or they got 6-0, one or the other. But,
sometimes it's more about looking at who the team's playing versus the team itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking too much. I think I might have to next year put more stock in who's in the semis and the quarterfinals and making it to the next rounds because the points just aren't balanced enough with that. But we're still finding our way. I mean, we're still finding our way with it. It's a difficult game to kind of get the points right. But we're almost there. I think adding the hundreds in there helps. I might put it in thousands next time. So, yeah. All right. Should we go to my game? Have we got anything else? Are we back in the room?
Back in the room.
So this game is the quotes game. The game is Pep or Klopp. I have a bunch of quotes. I'm going to say them, and then each of you get to pick. You can put it in the chat to me, your name, or we can just do a trust game. You either say Pep or Klopp, and you get 1 point if you get it right. Is that all good? Let's go with Rory. You start. Pick a number between 1 and 14, Rory.
I'll go 14.
14. All right. The quote is, tactics are so important because everyone has to know what they have to do on the pitch. The relationships and behaviors off the pitch between teammates have to be as good as possible. Who said it? Pep or Klopp?
And do I reply in the chat? Do I reply in the chat or do I reply to you?
Reply in the chat and I'll ask you to repeat it. All right.
Okay.
Well, I thought, are we not all doing it at the same time? Otherwise, what's the point in the chat?
Oh my days.
Just answer it in the chat, Danny.
All right.
Right, I've answered it in the chat.
Danny's just the worst, isn't he? Right. So, Rory, who did you go for?
Pep.
Danny, you went for?
Klopp.
And Mark, you went for?
Klopp.
It was Pep Guardiola.
Bush. It just sounded like the sort of nonsense that, when he talks like, when
I thought it was a double bluff. I think I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, when he tries to do that like pseudo philosophical, like, look at me, I'm so, because he sounds like Arteta, basically. That's why I thought Pep.
Yeah, these aren't famous quotes, but I picked some that were kind of like, oh, this could be about teammates, could be this nonsense, because they both talk nonsense, to be fair. So I've tried to mix it up and get you confused. Mark, 1 to 13.
All right, we'll go with 6.
Number 6. A perfectionist. That's part of my job. Who said that? Put it in the chat, and I'll ask you afterwards. Is that all right? Do you understand, Dan?
I get it. I'm with you now.
It's a trust game. Go on, Mark. Who was it?
I'm going Pep.
Danny boy?
Yeah, same Pep.
Yeah. Rory, you went for?
I went Klopp.
It was Pep.
All right, 1-1-1.
1-1-1. Let's go. Danny, pick one. 1 to 13 with no 6. I'm just say some numbers.
12.
12. The more players I have, the more difficult choices there are for me, but the better it is for the club. Who said it? Write in the chat and I'll ask you afterwards. The more players I have, the more difficult choices there are for me, but the better it is for the club. Have you answered? Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on, Danny. Who said it?
I've gone Klopp.
You've gone Klopp. Rory?
I went Pep.
No,
Mark?
Pep.
You went Pep. It was, in fact, Jurgen Klopp.
Fuck.
Originally, you said Liverpool FC, but I just changed it to this club because I did think that kind of sounded like a Pep one because he has all the players. Double bluff again, Mark. Hey, good, yeah. Rory, 1 to 14.
7.
What's the number left? 7. I only change things where I know about a situation. I'd never change just for change. Who is it? Pep or Klopp? Write it down, put it in the chat. You got it? Rory?
Pep.
Who was it? Pep? Mark?
I've gone Pep.
I've gone Klopp.
What one did I pick as well? What was that? 7?
7.
Oh, yeah. It was, in fact, Klopp.
Oh, Danny.
God, this is neck and neck.
No,
What did you say?
3-1.
3-1 to Danny.
3-1-1 to Danny.
Deary me.
I thought that
Mark?
was some sarcasm
Yes.
Pep said to how often he changes. All right, I'll go number 1 if we haven't done that.
Number 1. Only stupid people are changed by success. Who said that? Pep or Klopp?
Oh.
I'm not even reading the chat, I'll be honest with you.
No.
Pep or Klopp?
Who's
Only
yours,
stupid
Ross?
people changed by success. Go on, Mark. Who's your answer?
I've gone Pep.
You've gone Pep. Danny?
I've gone Klopp again.
I've gone Pep.
It's Klopp.
Fuck!
That's twice I've gone against my.
Just go with your gut.
Yeah.
I read it back to myself in both their voices and whichever.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was thinking, would Pep ever use the word stupid? I'm not sure he would.
See, I didn't think Klopp would use the word stupid.
He does. He swears a bit.
Yeah, that's true. He does, doesn't he?
It was hard to pick these ones because they've all got like their sayings in them. You know, like how they talk. Like I think Klopp always goes like, "Of course," isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Danny, pick a number.
4.
For sure. 4. We need the whole squad, every player of the team, if we are to be successful. Pep or Klopp? We need the whole squad, every player of the team, if we are to be successful. Who have you picked?
Pep.
Pep. Go on, Rory.
Pep.
Mark.
I've gone Pep.
It is, in fact, Pep. Oi, you finally got one.
We all got one, so it makes no difference.
Yeah. 5-1-1.
5-1-1. Rory?
No,
What are we
5-2-2.
doing? Or
It's
5-2-2,
5-2-2,
sorry.
yeah.
How many are we
Rory,
doing?
one more each. Rory,
I'll
pick a
go
number.
number 2, please.
Number two, please. I'm not saying I'm the best manager in the world, but I'm quite good. Pep or Klopp? What an apt quote for today's one. I'm not saying I'm the best manager in the world, but I'm quite good. Pep or Klopp? Rory, who said it?
I've gone Klopp.
You've gone Klopp. Mark?
I did put Pep, but I'm changing my mind now.
I've done exactly the same. I've put Pep, I think it's Klopp.
Yeah, I put Pep.
It's Klopp.
Yeah, I think it was his first interview when he was the
5-3-2.
normal one, wasn't he?
You wrote Pep twice, you were so convinced, and then you changed it.
If I get the next 2 right and Danny gets them wrong, then I tie him.
Yes. That is
Right.
that is
Game on.
Pep isn't, in fact, we've all said that. It's Klopp who's the best manager in the world. Mark, go on, last one.
All right. 9.
Number 9. I'm really a normal football manager. Who said that? Pep or Klopp? I'm really a normal. It's funny how you guys are picking these ones. I'm really a normal football manager. They're so related. Who have you got, Mark? Write it down. Write it down.
I got Klopp.
You got Klopp, Danny?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same.
Klopp, indeed it is. 1-1-1.
That's Danny's one.
Danny Juan. But pick your last one, Dan. Pick a number. Just for the giggles. 10. I am so happy when I feel emotion about the way my team plays. I am so happy when I feel emotion about the way my team plays. Pep or Klopp? Who said it?
I'm going for Pep.
You're going for Pep? Rory, who are you going for?
Same, I went Pep.
I just went Klopp.
And it is Pep Guardiola. He gets very emotional when his team plays well. Good for him, because they play well quite regularly.
Yeah.
Danny absolutely romped that one. That was a quick game, wasn't it? Nice.
Well
Danny's
played, Dan.
won with 6 points. Rory had 5 points. Congrats.
How did that happen?
I got the last 3 all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Mark had 3. He just gave up at the end, I felt. I had a whole bunch of quotes here, but there you go. That was a quote game. I thought I'd go for a nice quick one because we were doing this late. Lovely.
Nice.
Cool.
Not the
What do I
most
get for
exciting.
winning all these games?
What do you mean all these games like that?
Well, I've won the results league. I
And,
reckon I've won
And
the majority of
Champions
these
League
games.
draft. No, you didn't win the Champions League draft, did you?
No, I came last in that. But I won it last year and I got nothing.
We should tally these next year, these games.
Exactly.
I'm
I
up for
said that this
tallying
year.
I think we've said this for 2 years straight now.
I
Yeah.
think I'm in with a shout for the games. Unless like Chris does like the nickname one again.
What are you talking about? I've been smashing it the last few
Nah,
games.
mate, the nickname game was like that was poor from you. Like
Why?
that was I rate a lot of what you do. I'm a big Chris Alley fan, as you know, but you had a mare that day.
I'm really bad at retaining any kind of knowledge or information. It's one of my flaws.
That is a problem when it
Honestly,
comes
I'm terrible
to
at it.
memory games.
You have that on your CV, Chris.
I'm terrible. I said to someone the other week actually, because I'm very much someone who lives in the moment. So everything in the past is behind me, everything in ahead is before me. I'm right here, so it's hard for me to.
Oh, tune in next week for more pearls of wisdom from Chris Alley.
Yeah.
There you go. So that is front 3, back 4, I guess, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm ready right now in this moment, so I'm going first. Is that all right?
Go.
Yeah, go on
then. Right now is the present. That's why it's the present. In my front 3 this week are obese people, or we call them larger folk where I'm from, or heifers, because the UK government, has put a ban online for junk food. They've done this. I'm not quite understanding how they're going to legislate it, but apparently you can't have online junk food advertisements after 9 p.m. Is that correct? Because we all know you get the munchies after the evening, not during the day. So I don't know if that timing is very good. But yeah, I don't know. There's this big drive on junk food and obese children, obesity. It's not great though, because the metrics, what everyone understanding of what fast food isn't great, because they base it on basically sugar and saturated fats are the two main things. But the problem with that is that avocado's high in saturated fat, milk's high in saturated fat. So these things are going to be put on the list and be put in the algorithms for fast food. And last time I checked, an avocado definitely isn't a fast food, because if it is, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, unless you deep fry it, which I've done occasionally, but no. Yeah, so hopefully that's going to stop me from eating kebabs, but I highly doubt it.
Why are fat people in your front three then? I still don't understand the story.
Why what?
Why are they in your front three, fat people?
Because they're not going to be fat anymore, because there's not going to be advertising like that.
Right, okay. I was wondering where you were going with it. Okay.
That's almost like he set you up.
Yeah.
Did you plan that exchange before? That was class.
When they're sitting online, yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm going to stop eating avocado. Yeah. In my back four this week is Wuhan, or the Wuhan labs, let's say. And I remember saying this a long time ago, a Mark IV, I was an absolute nonsense person. But there's become more and more evidence that the COVID virus was actually man-made and escaped from a lab in Wuhan. And the World Health Organization has been largely criticized by a lot of researchers from Stanford and MIT and Cambridge and a lot of other places as well. I think when it first came out, a lot of biologists and a lot of virologists had said that the COVID virus, or what's it called? COVID SARS, blah blah blah.
COVID SARS-19 or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it basically just showed shapes and examples of it actually being man-made and not something that was out of bat poo. So yeah, now we're getting more and more evidence that it was actually something that was put together by some people and accidentally got out. So interesting. They should start putting out there. No, nothing. Yeah, you go. Fine. No, Mark.
I just don't I just don't want to upset the Chinese government, so I'm going to sit this one out. You don't know who's listening, do you?
Well, they're getting rid of all the 5G masts all around Europe. You'll be fine, see, because that's going to solve it.
5G masks.
Masts.
Oh, masks.
Just in the phone masts. They're getting rid of them all. All the governments in Europe are deciding they don't like China listening.
I just think they should get rid of all phones and Wi-Fi. That's because where cancer comes from.
I blame microwaves.
Me too. Although I've got some popcorn ready on the go, so I need to get this done. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Just to get it out of the way. So, as you guys know, I've been driving all afternoon, so I didn't have much time to do my front three.
The M25.
So just bear with me.
My back four is me missus, terrible navigator.
Yeah, no, wait for it. So first of all, my front three is the I guess the Twitter account Politics for All.
This is some scratch front three back four.
Well, look,
classic Danny front three back four.
So the Politics account on Twitter at Politics for All has reliably informed me this morning that the Indian variant is not resistant to the vaccination. So
is that a joke? Because I see that retweeted a lot, that Politics for All.
Yeah, no, it's not a joke.
They're not like I feel like they're not a real legitimate.
No, they're not a real legitimate organisation. Like they're not the Met Office, but they basically just retweet politics news, but they always have a source. So they basically regurgitate politics news from the newspapers. So it'll always be like from the Daily Telegraph.
Politics for All. At Politics for All is some bloke called Dennis.
No, it's let me find out.
Politics for All, yeah. No, it is at Politics for All.
I'll tell you what
some bloke called Dennis.
No, it's not some bloke called Dennis. Bear with me a second, guys.
I'll show you on my
at Politics for All.
Yeah.
Is
how are you spelling it?
It's then? Just no, it's at Politics for All. ENNI. It's the at sign. And then politics.
Oh, is it the number 4?
No, politics. FOR. All.
Yeah.
Politics for
Oh
all.
my god. Honestly.
I don't know what I'm seeing that's different to yours, but anyway.
At Politics for All, that is the, I don't know if you guys can see, that is the handle.
That's like total eclipse.
That is the handle.
That's weird. I'm honestly studying politics.
Right, moving on.
And they
Quickly.
tweeted, they tweeted today, confirmed the current
We're
coronavirus
stuck in a hole
vaccines
somewhere.
work well against the Indian coronavirus variant via the Sunday Times. So
PEO.
that is my front. That is my front three. My back four is myself and my missus. We decided to try and drive from Devon to London today, starting at 2:00 during what can only be described as a mini tsunami in the southwest of England. So
the rain was bad.
what on a good day, because I drive down there quite regularly because my older brother Niall, who's a listener to the show, so hello Niall. He lives down he lives down by Exeter. I do the drive
this far now. What are you doing?
If Niall's got this far,
I think you should take a look at yourself.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you Niall has not got this far. If he has, he can claim a free All Talk FC.
Rory's going to send him a free football top with
a free
All Talk
football
FC on the
Yeah.
back with the number 4 with politics and all either side of it.
Yeah, good
Just
shot.
says Dennis on the front.
POL.
So yeah, there was a like a mini
Lot of
tsunami,
rain.
and it took 5 hours. It should have been a 3.5 hour drive.
Danny, your front three, back four.
Good. Thanks for putting me out of my misery there.
Yeah, I went on for a long time. I'm going to send you a screenshot, by the way, of what I'm seeing of this bloke called Dennis, whose handle is at Politics for All. I'm not kidding.
Spelled it wrong. You spelled it wrong.
I haven't spelled it
100%.
wrong. I've checked. It's right. Anyway, my front three this week is millennial Man United fans. It was actually from last week, but I'm keeping it because they're doing a fantastic job. So obviously you talked the other week about all the Man United fans storming the Liverpool game and what it meant and blah blah blah. But no one really wants fans going and beating up police or fighting in the streets or whatever. But the millennial Man United fans got really smart about it. And I've been really impressed because rather than attacking the club and the football, they're looking for ways to attack the owners. So I don't know if you've heard of for Not a Penny More campaign. Is the name of the campaign that they're running. And they're basically encouraging as many of the fans to go and effectively online abuse, put bad reviews, just absolutely destroy all the partnerships that Man United have. So there's people like Tag Her, Adidas, Cadbury's, and they actually succeeded last week. So I don't know if you know, but in June, Man United shirt sponsorship is up and with Aon, and it was going to be with the Hut Group from MyProtein, was going to be changing. And they've now pulled out of a £200 million partnership because they got so much abuse from fans that they were too fearful.
Ed Woodward.
Well, they were too fearful of it. So Man United have now got no shirt sponsor and their sponsorship runs out next month. So they're frantically looking for a new one. But they're in my front three because I like that kind of campaigning. That's my kind of campaigning. That's being smart. That's using...
Funny saying that with Mark's background.
Yeah. But
the one thing I didn't like was a lot of them got bad Trustpilot reviews. And I use Trustpilot.
Trustpilot stopped. They stopped them. Trustpilot stopped them.
Yeah.
But I use Trustpilot a lot if I'm going to buy something off a random website. I like to go and use Trustpilot to see whether it's legitimate. Also, the protests of boycott the sponsors, half the fans were wearing United tops with the sponsors on them. So
yeah, I mean, but I like the idea. It's thinking outside the box. I like that. It's different. It's not going to destroy the football. They're trying to attack the finances and the money of the owners. I like that.
It's not going to destroy the football. It's just going to destroy 1,000 other businesses.
Well, yeah, but I mean, these are, Adidas and bloody Hut Group and whoever, they can cope.
And they'll be moaning that we don't buy Sancho this summer.
Oh, absolutely.
Go on.
That was my front three. Yeah. I had a few others. It was going to be Alisson's saving Liverpool season, that ridiculous header. But my back four is Elon Musk. That's all.
Let's go, Elon.
Go, Elon.
Chris's favourite person.
He's just such an arse.
Can I just say, sorry, go on, Dan, you say your thing and I'll say mine.
Well,
I was going to say, Elon Musk he's like the Taliban of Twitter because Donald Trump's gone, and now he's the one that's occupying that space that Donald Trump's left, isn't it?
The Taliban of Twitter is it's an interesting way to describe Elon Musk, but he'll probably tweet you if he hears that. He loves a tweet.
Oh,
yeah, he's just annoying me because
tweet out Talk FC, Elon. He loves that shit.
You know what though? He has 50 million followers, whatever it is. He has so much power, and obviously over the last week or so, the last couple of weeks, been tweeting a lot about crypto, about Bitcoin, about Dogecoin, and all the meme coins that are out there, and he's just what's really annoying is how he's going about doing it, and he's obviously doing it for a laugh. But there's a lot of people, and a lot of people globally around the world that have a lot of money in these things. But what I'm annoyed at with him is he's pumping this, this crap meme that's a fake coin. It's not even real, but like for a laugh, right? And he went on Saturday Night Live and did a sketch. Well, he went on Saturday Night Live and did a sketch all about like, how he's going to the moon, he's going to be the king of Mars and all this stuff, right? But loads of people, like thousands and thousands of people are buying this. People who don't know what they're doing are spending their hard-earned money following him, thinking, well, he knows what he's talking about. It's going to go up. I'm going to make loads of money.
Danny,
it's going to come crashing down.
Yeah, how much money you lost, Dan? Come on, cut to the
I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole because I'm not an idiot. But a lot of people are, and a lot of people are going to keep buying it. And at some point, it will fail, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, all right, I was joking, sorry." Everything will come crumbling down, and a lot of people will lose a lot of money. A lot of people that can't afford to lose money, and I don't think he appreciates that.
If someone's put money in that, they can afford to lose it. I mean, stop doing that. Like,
it will come out in the next few months when he decides to focus on something else because he's bored.
I don't think he's doing it for a laugh. I think the GameStop this. I feel like he's just doing social experiments at the minute to see.
Well, maybe it's that. Whatever it is he's doing.
We've basically got a generation now that we've never had before of social movements where we can crash stocks, we can boom memes into billions of dollars. Like I think he's just trialing stuff. Like I don't think he's doing it. He doesn't strike me as a guy who's got a sense of humor. Like he was
on Saturday Night Live, so he must do.
He was not great. He was not funny. He was so awkward. Have you seen it? It was really
weird. He's a weird geezer.
He's a weird character.
Well, let's not bang him too much. He has got autism, but
has he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Once when we went out for a beer, I was walking back to Angel Station, and I saw a bloke with a T-shirt that said "I love Elon Musk" on it, and I just thought that was weird. I thought you love Elon Musk so much that you wear a T-shirt saying "I love Elon Musk" is just.
Anyway, he's in my back four because he might be having a laugh, he might be doing social experiments, might be whatever, but I think he's being a bit irresponsible. With great power comes great responsibility, as we all know, and he has a lot of power and is using it irresponsibly right now, in my view.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate.
He forced you to talk about Uncle Ben. Mark, finish us off.
The Uncle Ben, what? The rice? That was what?
That was Spider-Man's uncle.
Yeah, it was definitely a Spider-Man reference.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, you should get that. You're the cartoon guy. You're the superhero guy. You're the try.
Is it? Yeah, it is Uncle Ben, is it?
Jesus Christ, honestly. Let's go. Finish it off.
All right, front three. I told you he'd win the belt, Chris. Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
He's probably in the UFC roster at the minute. He's one of my favorite fighters, and mainly because I feel like he's earned his title fight. So he had a title fight this weekend, won the vacant belt. Basically, he's now on a 9-fight win streak. Last time he lost was 2017, and he was fighting a guy who's had one fight in the UFC and got sort of pushed up like to a title fight. So I was just pleased, and I don't know if you watched it. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the celebration.
Yeah, I watched it while I was on the toilet.
So you can't. If you watch it, he wins the belt. He runs into the crowd. Like he seems a genuinely nice guy. Like, and his celebrations. It's hard to watch that and not be pleased for the guy. So I'm Danny shed a virus. But yeah. So yeah, front three, Charles Oliveira.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I just want to say, I hate the commentary camera now. I can't stand it. With every knockout and Joe Rogan and DC just playing for the camera. It's just such a try hard move. It's revolting.
The whole the screaming and and the like hands in the air. Yeah, it's very Arsenal fan TV. Like
Very.
Do you remember during the first lockdown when Arsenal fan TV started filming themselves? It reminds me of that. Like they're very aware the camera's there. Back four, although it looks like you're back. Back four is I don't know if any of you seen the news, but London's gonna have its new biggest beer garden coming to the South Banks, opening in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be the biggest beer garden in London. Reason it's my back four is I don't know if any of you have actually been to a beer garden recently, but prices of beer have surged since reopening.
Go on, how much for a pint?
So they were saying, well, not in this beer garden, but they're saying on average pints of beer in London have gone over £6. So
Wow.
bottles of Peroni were £7 in Chelsea
For a bottle
of Peroni.
Yeah, that's filth.
I don't know if any of you have been to the pub, but even I've noticed it. And like the fact that some pubs make you order on an app and like order table service, it's even more blatant how expensive beer's got. And I'm like, I've never been too fussed while it's been like sort of between £4 and £5, but we're talking over like a lot of pubs now are pushing £6. Like they'll have a basic beer like a Beck's or something that might be £5.50. And then they'll put every other pumped beer over £6. So I'm quite a fan of pale ales. I like the Camden ranges, and I like the neck oils. You know, you're looking at over £6 a pint now, and I'm like, I think there's a lot of goodwill these first couple of months. So you see beer gardens full, but I don't see.
Hopefully it will go back down, and it's not going to be something that stays. I'd like to think it would go back down in prices.
There's no chance. Once it's up, it's up.
Once it's up, it's up. Yeah.
It's worrying because like as someone who prefers, I prefer to drink out. I prefer to drink out than drink in the flat. And
100%.
Even I'm like,
so he's better out than him.
But I was buying I bought 24 Camden Ales in Sainsbury's on Friday.
Not a break.
And it was proper cheap. So people are just going to start going to the supermarket.
Other supermarkets are available.
Other supermarkets are available. But people will just start because
the gap will be too big between the two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The amount you can go and get Moretti's, Peronis, you know, these so-called expensive beers for like next to nothing, like £12 for 12 and stuff like that. People ain't going to be going in a pub and paying £7 for a bottle of Peroni.
No, I think there's a lot of goodwill. Pubs are in trouble. They've been closed. They're always getting blamed during lockdown. Like there'll be an outbreak in a school and they'll close the local pub. Like, you know, pubs have got a lot of stick over the last year. So I think there's a lot of goodwill to go and use them to try and let them like as you say, recoup losses. But unless it comes back down, they're not going to survive.
Yeah. Well, it's more just like the midweek drink where you'll have one pint. So it's not going to be like a weekend 8 to 10 pint session. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I see groups of people buy one pint and sit there for their entire booking, and you're like I know you're charging a lot for a pint, but it's not. You can't survive on that.
Yeah, that's poor. You should. This is the problem with having to book, though, isn't it? That you are going to get people like that will sit there for an hour nursing one pint, and then people like.
Well, both me and Danny's got nice gardens now, so you can come out and sit out there and have a beer.
Yeah, decent.
I'll only charge you £3 a pint. We shall see you next week, hopefully, maybe.
Yep.
All right. See you later.
Bye.